What's good, y'all? It is Will here from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing back in once again, coming at you with another video today. It's been a while since I've said that, because it's been a while since I or Alex has made a video. And you know, if you watch the recent videos that we've made, the most recent videos we've made, then you'll see kind of been at a point where we're not really certain about the channel and about our content and about what it started as compared to what it is now. And you know, with that being said, I still think it's a channel we can upload every now and then on, just sort of talk, because we did build a little bit of something. You know, we talked about our lives and about our experiences with psychedelics and whatnot, and people were willing to watch. And for those, you know, we don't want to just simply cut you guys off and leave you out to dry, you know, but it's just been hard to make videos about psychedelics when definitely for me, it hasn't really been as much on my mind over the past, I would say over the majority of this year. And I would say it's similar to Alex. I won't speak on his behalf, but it's been hard to really talk about a lot of stuff that we started this channel with. And that's kind of why we've decided to branch out into other things. You know, I've been making a bunch of TikTok videos, just talking like this basically on the camera about my life and about motivating topics and whatnot. I've been writing a bunch, starting on my third book, and I've just been trying to grow platforms on social media other than YouTube for a bit. And you know, where I left off was about a month to 2 months ago. Since then, you know, I did get COVID over July, and that lasted like 2 weeks, and I was really just in bed for that span. And that was really a low point for me of the year, you know, because I've had this goal of getting a job for a while, and I was searching online for a long time, which wasn't working out. And it's during that time it felt like a setback where I couldn't do that. I couldn't focus on anything. And so, you know, once I finally got over COVID, I started looking in person, and that's kind of what I've been at the past month or so, just on and off looking in person for jobs. And yeah, it hasn't been easy. I've kind of struggled with that, but it's in that where I've sort of looked at it and convinced myself, oh, I'm stuck, I'm not going anywhere. But in reality, I've actually made a lot of progress this year. I've done quite a bit, you know, and it's funny because yesterday I had a Snapchat memory pop up from 2 years ago, and it was essentially like me talking on the camera about where my life was and what I was doing. But in a sense, I felt like it lacked a bit of authenticity. And at the time, I was, 2020, obviously a rough year for a lot of people, but for myself, you know, I was talking about where I was with school. For one, you know, I was starting classes at the time, like it was the beginning of the next semester, and I was taking a bunch of classes that I wasn't sure what I would be getting from, but I was just doing it, you know, because that's just sort of what you do when you're 19, 20 years old out of high school. You just kind of take some classes that just hopefully will get you somewhere, right? I also mentioned the bad trip experience that I had. I've talked about it on this channel. I had a bad trip, you know, at the beach back in June of 2020. It was a couple months before I made that video that I was talking about, that Snapchat memory. And at the time, I didn't really fully acknowledge or accept what I really went through that day. I still was just not able to really go over it, analyze it, and come to terms with it. You know, there's a lot that went on that day, a lot of analyzation and epiphanies, realizations about what I was facing, particularly around my sex life and, you know, having a porn addiction and all that stuff, and questioning my sexuality and things like that at the time that I wasn't willing to admit even after that. And even then, I really was having driving anxiety. I didn't really feel like driving anywhere outside of maybe a couple blocks. So with that in mind, my responsibilities were limited because I couldn't go out and actually you know, go meet new people or get a job when I was afraid to drive. And I did have my license, but I was still afraid to get out there. And you know, tying that back into where I'm at now, and at the time I didn't have a job either, but tying all that back into where I'm at now, thinking like, oh, I need a job and I feel stuck because I haven't been able to get that. I feel like I'm in this purgatory state where I'm not able to move that chess piece to the next slot. But in all reality, since that time, I've published 2 books about my life and freeing my thoughts and freeing everything in an authentic manner, in an unfiltered manner, facing those fears, confronting those levels of growth about the bad trip. That's how I started out with writing. I started writing about what truly went on that day and not lying to myself. And then I got into more topics about what I was going through in my sex life, much of what I talk about on this channel. I talked about some of my struggles with driving and just a bunch of different things. And over time, it's become such an outlet for me, not only to debrief, not only as a refuge, but to work on those issues, to develop myself. And since then, I've become open and speaking to a lot of people about what I've truly went through with a porn addiction and just all this questioning sexually and self-questioning as well. I've been able to start driving and get way beyond my level of comfort with driving to the point where I'm comfortable driving just about anywhere now. It took me till this year to get onto the freeway, but I finally did, and now it's something that I'm proud to say, like, I'm able to do that because now the world of responsibilities has opened. Like, I can go out there and meet somebody far out, or expand my connections, or go find a job and work somewhere where I don't have to worry about traveling and getting from point A to point B. And I've been working out, going to the gym 4 days a week and doing cardio that doesn't entail the gym 1 day a week, so working out 5 days a week. And throughout all this, continuously writing, continuously growing, it's been a real self-discovery period in my life. And that's where I feel a little more encouraged, because I look back on that time and say, I've really grown a lot over the past 2 years, and learning who I am and figuring out who I am. And throughout that time, it's been a lot of solitude. I've documented that on the channel before. When it comes to like a relationship and stuff, which I've been single my whole life, I've never understood relationships, like, to be completely honest. Like, I've never understood why people get into these romantic relationships so casually and frequently. Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but it's just never clicked in my mind like it seems to for a lot of people. And to be honest, I just prefer to be independent. I've had a few experiences in the past with women where they would sort of lead me on and in a way cut me off at a certain point. And a part of me is like, okay, well, I don't want to keep going down that cycle. So what I'm trying to do is, learn more about female nature, but also learn about myself. And I just prefer being independent. I prefer being single. I really do not want a relationship. Like, I don't see a need to it. I don't see a point. I think it's just a big sacrifice that I'm really not trying to make. And, at times I've been like, oh man, I kind of want a relationship. Like, where's that? Nah, man, I really don't. Like, in looking back at how much I've grown, I just feel like it would be almost a hindrance for me to make such a commitment to someone. I think at this young of an age, and to each their own, but I think at this young of an age, it's important to focus on yourself and build the longest lasting relationship of all, which is yourself, your own relationship that you share with yourself, and learn who you are. And that's why it's like, I just don't need all those distractions and whatnot, man. I'd rather focus on myself and what I'm doing and be single for the time being. And with that being said, I'm still trying to find a job, which has been a harsh reality and ambition that hasn't come to fruition just yet, but it will. And just about every other facet of life, I've grown so much over the past 2 years, over the past year, that I'm not just going to bury that progress, And it's funny because that happens for a lot of us. We think we're not going anywhere, but then when we look back on where we once were a couple years ago, a year ago, we see like, I really have come a long way. And don't ignore it. It's important to see that, to see how far you've come. And I think self-discovery is something we all go through at points in our lives. That doesn't necessarily mean we have to be alone all the time, but just spending some time to ourselves to analyze and see the bigger picture, reflect on where we've been, and acknowledge some feelings, even if we don't do or do not. you know, and I hope to continue growing, continue climbing those hills when it comes to driving, when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to working out, making sure I'm in the right place health-wise, and you know, continue trying to grow financially and career-wise. But all that is centered on myself, you know. I have people around me, like, it may not be a ton, but I have people around me that I need, and I feel like I don't need to go out and search for something that's not there. You know, recently there have actually been a couple of girls hitting me up. Oddly enough, I've been receiving a lot of compliments, like, outside of my home. Like, people have been telling me, like, I like your beard, I think you have cool hair, I like the shirt, things like that I have really not received much in my entire life. But I've been seeing that, and not a bunch, but a couple of girls have been trying to hit me up, and it's like, you know what, maybe it could be seen as a sign that I should try and entertain something. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what, nah, I appreciate the compliments, but I'd really rather focus on myself. Like, I don't need sex, intimacy, and all that stuff. I really don't, at least for now. I prefer to be independent, and if an opportunity comes my way, I don't know how I'll react. It's just hypothetical, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, my life overall feels good. I feel fine. It's just this one goal that I'm trying to achieve, which is getting a job, that hasn't seemed to happen just yet, but it will, you know. And right now, just trying to grow in every other facet of life, and that's really what I've been doing. Truthfully, I've been going through a lot of growth this year, man. This has probably been the most challenging year of my life. Like, I'm not kidding at all. And I've been able to face it and face everything that I've gone through and continue growing as a man, you know. And I'm not going to invalidate that. I really want to be humble and have a sense of humility with me at all times, but I really have grown so much this year. And that's something that I'm proud to say. It's just that one chess piece that I haven't been able to move, you know. But otherwise, you can't just shove all that progress under the surface. You know, you have to acknowledge that. And I'm going to continue growing and being as the best man I can be, you know. So to anybody watching, I hope you enjoyed. This is kind of where my life's been doing pretty well. Truly been doing pretty well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just want to make a quick update, and yeah, if anyone's still tuning in from the past, who's watched our past videos, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Any videos you would want to see, I would love to make that as well. But yeah, don't know exactly when the next video will be or when I'll be uploading and whatnot on this channel. Just wanted to make an update video. So thank you for watching, for tuning into this point, and Will from Psychonaut Visions signing out.